I was Bob the Builder, and I built this dresser all by myself, so praise me in the comments, please, I need it. Heyo, it's Oishi, welcome back. I've been talking about books a lot recently, and you know what? We're gonna keep talking about them. I made a video a couple weeks ago, which was the mid-year freakout tag, and the last question of that video was, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? And I said that I was planning a whole other video about that. So here it is. This is that whole other video. Today I want to talk to you about 5 books that I really want to read by the end of the year, and I think I am going to read them because a bunch of them I already have on hold, so I'm really excited. These are books that I have been wanting to get to for a while, but I am finally now getting around to them. First up on my list is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This takes place after the events of Ruin and Rising, I believe, which is the final book of the Shadow and Bone series, and it follows King Nikolai after what happens in that book as he tries to figure out the weird dark magic that's going on with him after what happened to him in the Civil War. I was very interested in Nikolai's story and what happened to him in Ruin and Rising. How many times am I going to say that phrase? Anyway, I was interested in that, and I didn't think it was explored enough in Ruin and Rising, and so I am very happy that this duology exists because I really want to see the fallout from this, and I want to see what is going on with him mentally and physically because my guy is not okay. I like Nikolai as a character. He was probably one of my favorites from the original Shadow and Bone series, so I think it's going to be fun to follow him. And I also think Nina is in this from Six of Crows, so I'm excited to have one of my crows back because I miss my crows. I feel like in almost every video I talk about Six of Crows now. I need to stop, but I am really excited to have one of my crows, and I think the final main character is Zoya. I don't remember her last name, but Zoya. She was also in the original Shadow and Bone series, and I think she and Nikolai are gonna fall in love, which I am open to seeing that. Speaking of Nina, I'm not entirely sure if this book takes place before the events of Six of Crows or after. I feel like it's before, because I think what happens to Nina in Six of Crows is because she strays from this group. But I could be completely wrong about that. I could just be pulling that from nowhere. That's my idea of the story right now, and if it is before Six of Crows, I would like to see what kind of a person Nina was before she fell in with Kaz and the rest of the crew. Also, she doesn't know Matthias yet, so that would be interesting. Again, I could be completely wrong about this. We won't know until I read it. This is a duology. The second one is Rule of Wolves, I believe, so I will be reading both of them in succession. I have holds on both of them, and they are both on their way, so I am excited to see what happens with Nikolai. Next up, I am really excited to read Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas. Cemetery Boys is about a trans boy named Yadriel who is trying to prove to his family that he's a real brujo. In their culture, brujos are typically male, and Yadriel is a trans boy, so he is trying to prove that he is indeed a true brujo, which a lot of his family don't see him as yet. When his cousin is murdered, Yadriel takes it upon himself to find the body, and I think he tries to summon the cousin, but he accidentally summons a different dead boy, you know, as you do. And so now he has to handle this dead boy and also figure out the murder of his cousin with his other cousin, who is amazing. And I say that because I have been meaning to read this for a while, and I actually started it, but I got super busy, and so I didn't get more than like 10 chapters in, probably even less than that, before I had to return it to the library. So I have another hold on it, and I'm really excited to read it in full this time. From the little bit that I read already, it seems that I would really enjoy this, because, I mean, summoning a spirit and then summoning the wrong spirit, that's just fun. There's a lot of room for hijinks, and also, I'm pretty sure that there is a romance, and that Yadriel is going to fall for this boy who's dead. So conflict, we love to see it. You know that I love gothic atmospheres and like dark academia atmospheres, but I think what we don't appreciate enough is the idea of falling in love with a spirit. Let's do it. I feel like Hosier would definitely write a song about that. I'm also really interested in the culture of it all. They are Latino, and I think the idea of brujos and brujas are really cool and can make for an exciting story. The next book that I want to read is Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. In my last video, I talked about Heartstopper by Alice Oseman for a long period of time. This book, Radio Silence, is actually the first book of hers that I heard about. Okay, we're doing a little Heartstopper aside right now because I want to. The characters Nick and Charlie are actually from a different book of Alice Oseman's. I believe it's called Solitaire, and I think it was her debut novel, but it followed the older sister of Charlie, and so Charlie and Nick were kind of background characters, and from what I've seen, that book has mixed reviews. Like, people had issues with it, so that book is not super loved by people. On the flip side, Heartstopper is loved by like everyone. Radio Silence follows two students in their last year of high school who are quite overwhelmed with their lives, so they decide to start a podcast. As you do. We're summoning spirits and we're starting podcasts. That's true duality. I have been wanting to read this since Kat from Paperback Dreams raved about it. I don't have a specific moment in which she raved about it because I feel like all she does is rave about this, but her raving is working because it's high on the list of books that I really, really want to read. It seems like it would be right up my alley. There are two characters in their final year of high school and they're lost and they're anxious about the future and then they decide to just start a podcast. Like, that's so fun. It sounds wholesome, it sounds like it's gonna call me out a little bit too hard at times, and it sounds like something that I would very easily fall in love with, especially since I just finished my final year of high school and I am going into university in, wow, not even next year, like literally in a month. I've gotten so used to saying, oh yeah, I'm going to uni next year. No, it's in a month. Oh my god. If you've been here for a while, you know by now that I love anything coming of age, so the fact that we are getting coming of age plus podcasts, like, I mean, what more can I say? I want to read it. Next book is These Violet Delights by Chloe Gong. This is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in 1920s Shanghai, and I feel like that's really all I have to say about it, but I'll continue. Juliet Kai is returning to be the heir of their Scarlet Gang, and Roma Matagov is the heir of the Scarlet Gang's rivals, the White Flowers, and they have some history between them, some heartbreak in their past. But all of their rivalries and issues with each other have to be set aside when a strange sickness or madness starts tearing through the city. So they have to work together to figure out what is going on to save these people, or there will be no city for them to rule over. This had me at gangs in 1920s Shanghai. I think I've already expressed my love of fictional gangs enough, so let me express my love of the 20s. I love the 1920s, okay? I love the fashion, I love the music, I love the slang, it's incredible. Prohibition, which I don't think Prohibition is going to be a thing here since it's Shanghai and not the States, but still, I love the atmosphere that the 1920s gives off. I love the 20s, the 50s, and the 80s, so basically the decades where people would have been very racist towards me and a bunch of other people. Look, the state of civil rights was not it, but the state of fashion absolutely was. Also, this book seems like it's going to be enemies to lovers, which need I say more? I absolutely love enemies to lovers. It's probably one of my favorite romance tropes. Watching two people who hate each other slowly start to work together and understand each other and eventually see each other as who they really are and then fall in love. It's amazing. And I also love that the characters already have a history in this because I feel like that would make for an even more fun dynamic. I am trash for anything enemies to lovers. If you have an enemies to lovers romance in your novel, I am that much more likely to read it because it is one of the superior romance tropes, and I will die on that hill. The final book that I want to be able to get to in this year is Darius the Great Deserves Better by Adib Khorram. This is the companion to Darius the Great Is Not Okay, which I read last year and absolutely loved. It was one of my favorite books of last year. In Darius the Great Deserves Better, our main character Darius is getting along better with his father, he has a boyfriend, he has an internship, but his grandmothers are in town, and he doesn't know if they really like him. And the internship is not going exactly how he planned, and he's starting to hang around with someone else, and now he's starting to doubt his relationship. Essentially, he has a lot of stuff to figure out. Like I said, Darius the Great Is Not Okay was one of my favorite books of last year. There were aspects to it that I related to way too hard. It called me out in some places. It made me soft. It made my heart hurt. It made me cry. It owns my soul, essentially. So when I found out that there was a companion, I was like, yes, immediately, I want this. I want this in my hands. I want to own it. Unfortunately, I don't, but I will one day. I also like that because there's another book, there's the implication that not everything was better after Darius the Great Is Not Okay, because we started to see him be able to work through his issues and deal with everything and heal and, you know, just to be a better person and understand who he is better as a person, but obviously there is still a lot of issues which we get to explore in this one, which I'm very excited for. Before reading this, I'll probably want to read Darius the Great Is Not Okay, just for, you know, kicks and giggles, for the heck of it. I want to refresh my memory, but I also love it, so I'm not opposed to reading this again. And then I can't wait to get to this one. Okay, that is all. Those are 5 books that I want to be able to get to by the end of this year. I really hope that I do get to all of them. I have high hopes that I'll be able to get to all of these by the end of the year because, like I said, a lot of them are already on hold and on their way. So maybe I will do another video at the end of the year talking about these books again and telling you how I feel about them on the other side of them now that I've read them. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below, let me know, have you read any of these books, or do you want to read any of these books? Also, give me some recommendations of stuff that I should read by the end of this year, because I'm always looking for more books to read, even though my TBR is very big, and I am getting through it very slowly, but I feel like every time I read a book, I just add 3 more onto the list, so It's a never-ending struggle. If you enjoyed this sort of stuff and you want to see more of it from me, please make sure to hit that subscribe button because I make new videos every Friday, or at least I try. Also, I'm on platforms, so if you want to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Goodreads, and Letterboxd, those links will be in the description down below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!